Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks with Ben and Josh, streaming on the only Kirk Minahan Show network, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and now Rumble. Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chase and Throws Custom T-shirts and accessories, the Ice Shaker Make It Mac, and of course, we are proudly a part of the Kirk Minahan Show network. Ben, glad to be back after a little week hiatus. Happy belated birthday to you as well.
Thank you, Josh.
Got some pros and cons. Of course, we're going to start things off talking Bruins. They got eliminated. A little bit of a damper note here for Ben. And on the other, about the Celtics, who are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. They will be playing in just under an hour against the Indiana Pacers. That will be 8 o'clock ESPN. And later on in the night, we will preview, recap some of the other games within the NHL, and of course get you the NHL and NBA Eastern and Western Conference matchups. Ben, glad to be back.
It's Josh. Always great to be back with you. Nice little hiatus for us. I like that. Let's go. We got to pump it into us. Hey, we're going 3 viewers strong, and we're getting that pump-up crowd going, so let's go. Young Tito's, I like that one. So we're getting after it. But always good to be back with you, Josh. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Nice to take it off, too. And we get our own rest, too, Josh. So, and the Bruins are taking a long rest right now. You kind of previewed that, but that was a little tough one to swallow. But we got the Celtics, so we're going to start off with the Bruins, though, Josh. I think let's just get this out the way because they stink. They stink, Josh. It was a rough one. Obviously, the Panthers were better. We're going to save all the Celtics stuff. Celtics are actually good, but Panthers, they outclass us in this one. And, everyone's going to be yelling at Pasternak and Brad Marchand, even though, I'm going to hold, Marchand's injury at the end of that series. I'm going to give him a little break, Josh. You can't control that. It's a tough concussion. Very dirty. Obviously, the dirty hit from Bennett. Can't control that. Should have been out of the series. There's a lot of what ifs, should have beens with this Bruins team in the series, but when it boils down to it, Josh, they just didn't come to play. The best players didn't play, and the Florida Panthers' best players outperformed us. Pasternak missed a bunch of opportunities in that late in game 6. It was the second period, but I was just going to say overall in the series in the beginning of it, he kind of picked up middle of the way when we were clawing back in the series, but when we needed him, he wasn't here. And especially Charlie McAvoy. When I call him out, Josh, Charlie McAvoy, only one goal the whole postseason. It's very crucial on that. He was pinching a little too early. Listen, I was listening to 98.5. He's pinching a little too early. Everyone knows me and Josh aren't the best with the hockey terms, but there was a lot of red flags on Charlie McAvoy. He was causing a lot of problems on the last goal for Florida Panthers, and to let a defenseman score like that, it hasn't really scoring for them. That was just a rough one. So Charlie McAvoy had a sort of blueprint all over that. Wasn't too good, Josh. So I'm going to hold Charlie McAvoy pretty accountable for this one as well. But overall, just the best Bruins players didn't show up again, Josh. And we're just looking, what's next? What's next for this team?
Yeah, I mean, when you're I don't even know where to start, but when you're being outshot, outgritted, I mean, everything aside from, the power play opportunities, sloppy play from the Bruins, how many power play opportunities are they going to give the Florida Panthers? Everything aside from your goaltender, you lost. Jeremy Swayman was unbelievable. Tip of the cap to him. He really played unbelievable. I think in that series, he was putting up historical numbers in terms of just everything. Goals allowed a game, save percentage. He had this team on our back, as you mentioned, Ben. A lot of the defensemen, Lindholm, Carlo coming in and out of the lineup, Grizzlick. He was benched for a little bit going into that Maple Leafs and parts of this series as well. So the defense wasn't really stepping up for him. Charlie McAvoy, turnover machine. As you mentioned, David Pasternak and a lot of those folks on the first line and second line went missing, as opposed to I almost called them the Tampa Bay Lightning, as opposed to the Florida Panthers. These guys actually showed up. They played great. And at the end of the day, Ben, they were the better team than you, more talented all around, guys. I could literally name their whole team. Their whole team is stacked from Aaron Ekblad to Sam Reinhart to Bobrovsky, who played great. I know he was overshined by Jeremy Swayman, but guess what, Ben? He did what all good goaltenders have to do to move forward. Stop the pucks in front of you. Keep it a close. You don't want to take blame for those losses, and that's what he did. They beat us in 6. They were the more physical team. They outgritted us, more shots on net. And sadly enough, I know Don Sweeney comes out and talks about, Tyler's going to like this one, comes out, gets on the podium and talks about, we're a type of team that's not built for shots on net. That's not the type of team we are. We're not going to berate you with shots. Well, how are you going to win the game if you're not going to get more shots than the other team on net? Most likely, you're going to lose. And we squeezed by the Toronto Maple Leafs being outshot. That went to Game 7. Got lucky. Pasternak finally had his moment. But guess what, Ben? You have to move forward with that. And they didn't. You go back to game, 3? Game 4 at home in Boston. You're up 3-1. You blow that one. I mean, this team was just not built to win. Compared to last year, they went all in. They traded for a bunch of different guys. They got Lindholm last year. They brought back Krejci on kind of track to prove it. Let's bring this team back last year. Didn't working. This year, they go out and Maroons, Geekies, Van Reen. I mean, these guys just compete with Sam Tarasenko, Forsling, who's been Florida Panthers. And Ben, the 2 best teams are moving on in the Eastern Conference, and that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles for the Bruins. I know it's kind of a tough pill and a tough sting to deal with, but the Florida Panthers were just a better team.
Yeah, no doubt, Josh. It was just rough. I like that one from Sam. It's hockey's not the strong suit. Hockey's not the strong suit over here. I will admit that. Listen, yeah, it's an easy one with this Bruins team. The Florida Panthers are just better than us. No, not yet. I did know that year, and I actually remember that one. I saw that on PTI. So I don't know if we're gonna sing it to him, but I wish Josh Allen a happy birthday over there. I always liked Josh Allen, the next Big Ben, better version of him. So shout out to Josh Allen. Hopefully they can get something done this year, but not really. But to Sam's point, it's tough with the Bruins because we keep just beating ourselves in circles with this. We just weren't the better team. They got to figure out something. We got to figure out somebody. Jake DeBrusk can't be leading this team in the postseason points. I know Marchand and Pasternak follow him right there, but those guys just didn't show up when we need them. The defense has been awful. Obviously, we shout out to McAvoy situation. Him becoming a leader this year, and he just kind of fell flat in this series. It was just, Florida Panthers are just, they're on a tear to kind of step into that Tampa Bay Lightning reign that we saw a couple years ago. So we got to just shout out them. As Josh mentioned, they had a bunch of picks over there. They've been stockpiling for many years to Chuck. Tarasenko, shout out to Chi. I remember Chi mentioning that. I forgot they had Tarasenko on there. But you just got to move forward, and as Chi just pointed out right over here, who we got winning. Listen to this, Sam. Come on, Sam better listen to this pretty closely. I got Oilers Rangers. Stanley Cup. Can't root for the Panthers. Obviously, just after this last series and the bitter series last year, I'm not rooting for the Panthers. One of the most talented teams, but I think the Rangers goaltender Shesterkin. Sorry if I butchered it, but it's whatever. Igor, I'm going to call him by the first name. I like the first name better. He's just been on a tear. I mean, he really brought them back into the Hurricane series, stopped that sort of surge from the Hurricanes. They're starting to build momentum. And, they had a huge third period in that sort of Game 6. I thought they were down 3-1, and the Rangers just persevered, showed what this, kind of depth this team has and, resilience. So I got to give it to the Rangers, the hot goaltender, and just Chris Kreider, shout out BC. But, I think they're just going to go all the way over there. Can't root for the Panthers. So, Oilers is just Connor McDavid. They just got to get into the cup, Josh. Paving the way. Almost blew it against the Canucks, but for them, you just got to get the best player in the Stanley Cup final. I think McDavid's finally going to do it. Draisaitl will start getting it together too. Draisaitl. They've just got a loaded team over there. I want to see them in the cup too. One of the most talented teams out there.
Oh, 100%. those two matchups are going to be great. I've kind of been back in the Dallas Stars, but I'll give you my prediction in a second before we kind of turn the tables over to basketball. Sadly, we can't bash on the Bruins all show for an hour long. But aside from that, this is the real moment, Ben, that I can't get out of my head here. A minute left. Just hold on. Just get us to overtime. I know you don't want to see another overtime again. I know they sent us packing last year, but just hold on. I know Swayman's been unbelievable all year, but it's just a typical Bruins fashion to lose that game. And to be completely honest with you, Ben, that is the image that I'm going to have moving forward. I think at the end of the day, moving forward, this Bruins team, they have plenty of cap space. You go out, maybe you can land a guy like Sam Reinhart, bring him over here, led the Panthers in goals and points. I believe goals. I know points. He's unbelievable for them in the regular season and pretty much in the playoffs as well. Hopefully you can pull him over here. Trade Olmark. That's kind of been the talk of the town. I know he has the no trade clause, but something's got to give. I mean, I know he wants to keep his family here, and it's great schooling for his kids, but at some point, you're going to want to play goalie, and Swayman's going to be taking a lot of those reps next year. Hopefully they call up Braden Bussey. He gets some reps as well as the backup, or they bring in someone on a cheap deal. Doesn't matter. I digress on that point. But aside from that, I'm interested in seeing what they do this offseason, Ben, because last year's offseason was kind of, let's just squeak into the playoffs, live through the regular season, and let's see what these guys can do in the playoffs. Again, talent wins in all four of the big sports in the United States, across the world. Talent wins you championships, and the Florida Panthers just had more talent, Ben. And quickly, out of these two matchups, I don't know if you want to call me a McDavid hater or an Oilers hater, but I'm going Dallas Stars in that. And then for this one, I'm taking the Rangers. I do think that this one goes 7. I think the other one goes 6. I got the Dallas Stars in 6. But this one has just – I think whoever comes out of the East is going to win it all. That's my take. That's kind of the take I've been running by. I think the Rangers get the best of this one. Better goalie. And this is a Rangers team who can actually keep up with the Florida Panthers. They're going to get way more shots on net than the Bruins. And as Ben has mentioned, this Rangers adversity. This Bruins team cannot come back when trailing, especially to a team like the Florida Panthers. I think the Rangers do it, and I think you're going to see a Dallas Stars versus Florida Panthers Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, of course, Josh has got to back up the Dallas team. He's always got to sneak that in over there. I mean, hey, shout out to Dallas, Josh. I mean, 2 Dallas teams in the conference finals. I saw an interesting stat. It's been 10,000 days since the Cowboys have been in any conference championship. They want to give you a slate on that one. That's just a fun fact, Josh. I remember that when I just got that. I know. I just said, I didn't really put 2 and 2 together about those Dallas teams, but yeah, no, we're not going to bash. We're going to get to the NBA. NBA is a little more interesting. And, listen, hey, we're big Bruins guys. Obviously, NHL playoffs, still great, still ecstatic over there. But, I mean, we got to focus on the Celtics soon and everything. But just to piggyback on your point, Josh, yeah, we just got to be big spenders for the Bruins because we're running out of options. We just got to, we got to be big spenders over here because we've got all the stars. We've got the depth. As Josh mentioned, we got the goaltending. Swayman has sort of, declared himself, the goaltender throughout this playoff run. We can get rid of Olemark now. He's got to go somewhere. I'm sure he doesn't. As Josh said, he does want to do this. So, we'll just focus on that. And, for the rest of this team, it's just a run out of options, because the defense is there. We got everything. We just got to go make a big splash. And just get to this point, too. I want to hurry this up because we got to give Josh a shout out for this. We got to give Josh a shout out for his performance at the basketball game. We got to see everybody again over here. So shout out to Jackson, our guy Jackson. He's always
he's
always got your back, Josh. But yeah, I guess it was a great performance from Josh. I see a lot of Josh praise, not a lot of Jimmy praise, so that's what I like to see too. No Jimmy praise in there. Let's just shout out Josh and everything. So yeah. Let's get this going for Josh again. I think they're just calling, bro. You guys just calling rec league basketball games? Is that what this is? I'm kind of. Oh,
here's James, baby. Here he comes. Yeah, no. So basically, we're calling Kirk Minahan's basketball game. His team's basketball games I mean, just unbelievable content. So much fun. They're going to be playing 7:50 this Thursday in Waltham. So that's a must watch. It is worth the laughs. And hey, it is worth the entertainment because this team has some talent. I know that they can do it, Ben. And the biggest point moving forward, I'll give them one last shout out here, is who's going to be the third guy to step up. I know me and James will talk about that moving forward, but can't be Kirk and Beanbag Ron to kind of lead it up. But hey, James saying league sources tell me Coleman is coming off the bench. So we've got a lot to kind of talk about there. We'll get to that on Thursday for you guys. Excited to kind of get back in the booth with my buddy there, James. But aside from that, Ben, it's time. It's time. It's finally time. We have been hearing way too much about this team, the Boston Celtics, and the Indiana Pacers, who me and you really had a lot to talk about earlier in the season. I feel like me and you previewed their trade deadline moves, getting Pascal Siakam, talking about Aaron Nesmith, all that stuff earlier in the season. And now it's finally here. You know, is Kristaps going to be on the floor for them? Can they win without him? A lot of people think that they should. I'm going to just take this one quickly, Ben. I think that they should. I think that this Boston Celtics team is the better team, more talented, and I think that experience matters. We've seen this Boston Celtics team take us to the championship and just come up a little bit short. The road in the path is easier than it has ever been. Compared to the Western side of things, it has been a gauntlet. The Eastern side of things, it really hasn't been. Ben, these guys have been resting. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I'm going to take that pairing over Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton, who has kind of slowly started to regain confidence and reclaim his name back. Is a little critical on Tyrese Halliburton, so I want to pump the brakes on that. But I will say, Ben, I'm sticking to my guns. This series does not go 7. It goes 6. The Boston Celtics do not see a Game 7 until the NBA Finals, if that. And I got them winning this one, Ben. Again, a lot of talent. I think everybody's playing well right now. Luke Cornett filling in for Kristaps Porzingis perfectly right now. And I think there's even a potential that Kristaps comes back in this series. Aside from that, Ben, it's put up or shut up for the Celtics. Win this in 6. Come out strong tonight. I don't want to see any ring rust. I want to see them cover this spread, win by 10, put your foot on their throat and take a commanding 1-0 lead.
Oh, hey, perfectly said right there. And going to echo Denise and she, more so Denise on that one, Josh. They just better not pull this Cowboys season again. I mean, this is, she hates, I know we already took 2 early shots at the Cowboys. Don't mean to do that. It's just OTAs. Got me thinking football already, Josh. So we already got football on the mind over here, but I digress about that. It's just, honestly, the Celtics are in that Cowboys mindset. It's just, I hate to say it too, but Draymond Green's right. I know everyone's kind of picking apart some of those comments he said. Yeah, but I mean, he's right. How many these conference finals really don't matter. I mean, 3 in a row. We've made the finals appearance. We've checked everything off the box. It's just, it's time to get to that finals win. It's just time to get there. No more excuses. I mean, Jaylen Brown got $300 million. Tatum's going to be well on his way to a number around there, if not more. He's going to be the face of the league, so he's going to try to command something in that range. We obviously got paid guys like Derek White, Holiday, and everything. We're shelling out all this money, and we just got to see a return on the investment, Josh. Just put it up or shut up now. I mean, this path, as you said, the West has been a gauntlet. I mean, just teams. Absolutely. The Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets going down to the Timberwolves. We'll get into the Timberwolves a little. I'm a little scared about the Timberwolves, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie over on that one. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that length. I mean, when they shut down the Nuggets in that demoralized, I believe it was game 2 for them against the Nuggets. And, in Denver, they just shut them down. I think they beat them by like 30 or something. Denver only scored about 80 points or so, 70 to 80-point range. And they just shut them down that length. For the Timberwolves, is just a huge issue for the Nuggets, and everyone knows how much talent is on the Nuggets team. So I know people are kind of over saying this is the easiest path, and it is. And don't get me wrong, this is the easiest path. But I think we got to watch out for Minnesota. Everyone laughs at Cat and Gobert, but I mean Anthony Edwards got that team to leave it, so he's sort of instilled this different culture over there. They're starting to play a little more with belief, a little more belief in that team. So. Say, watch out, just bookmark that one, Josh. We'll bookmark that one. The T-Wolves still got to get past the Mavs. Yeah, we'll come back to it, but we can get everyone else's comments too on this one. But I think it's all the pressures on the C's. Jimmy's saying cakewalk. Yeah, I guess it's a cakewalk, but I mean the Pacers only 3-2 against them in the regular season, Josh. And Halliburton has been, again, he's been picking it up. He's been, you were calling him out a little, so I'm glad you remember that, Josh. That wasn't me. I think Halliburton's been great so far. But, I think it's been the other guys you mentioned. Siakam, he's just got that championship pedigree from those Raptor years, being that number 2 besides Kawhi Leonard. So you're starting to see that impact with this Pacers team, and Miles Turner's really picking it up. I mean, he's just been outstanding on the boards for them. And obviously, the Knicks just got battered and bruised, Josh, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. This is not going to be a cakewalk, Jimmy. So, because as Marianne said, they cannot choke because they have choked before. So, not going to be a cakewalk for us, Josh. Just want everyone on their toes.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, if I came into this saying you were going to play the Indiana Pacers you would be thrilled. I know that the Knicks, they had a lot of injuries that plagued them. Even Jalen Brunson fracturing his arm in that Game 7. I mean, that was just the epitome, the absolute message sent through the New York Knicks. They couldn't catch a break with injuries. No Julius Randle, no Bojan, Bogdanovich, Boban, whatever one out of the Bogdanoviches that it was. He wasn't healthy. I mean, they had OG Anunoby, who played very well for them coming in and out of that series as well. So the Knicks, as much as I was praising them, thought they were going to be in it, the Eastern Conference Finals with us, tough team, would have given us a tough out. Injuries plagued them. Now we're here with the Indiana Pacers, who me and you really recapped a lot, kind of talked about them. Can they make that push? And right now, Ben, I mean, you got to be feeling good if you're the Indiana Pacers. You went out, you got Pascal Siakam, who's your leading scorer in the postseason right now, averaging over 21 points a game. And guess what? All they have to do is just steal one. Maybe James is right. Maybe this is the game where Aaron Nesmith steps up. And I think that's what the Boston Celtics have to do, is limit those guys to just spark out of nowhere. I mean, Nembhard, Naismith, TJ McConnell, all these random little role players cannot come out and dominate, because the way that they shot the other night, the Celtics definitely will have a little bit more than they could chew if the Pacers come out firing on all cylinders. But again, lean on Jason Tatum, lean on Jaylen Brown. I know that you don't have Porzingis, but you shouldn't need Porzingis for this series, Ben. I'm just going to hammer that take home. You don't need Porzingis to win this series. I think that the Celtics could win this in 6. They will win this in 6. They very well could win it in 5. And guess what? It all starts with tonight. A nice win at home, which they have not been pretty good this postseason with at home, Ben. They've lost in each of the series at home. I know that they've won in 5 games in each series, but again, they don't play the best at home. And James coming in for an interesting one here. If we lose, I'm on my way to San Antonio and Aaron Nesmith revenge series. So interesting one there for him.
Yeah, he thinks he's trolling with that one, Josh. I'm glad you got to that comment too, and glad you got to that Siakam. I mean, that was one of our big trade block conversations. We were wondering why they were going all in for the Siakam one. Is this roster ready for that sort of lift off into sort of a deeper playoff run? They thought they're just a first round team, first round exit. Maybe they win a series. They go home happy about that. The young core of Halliburton, all those guys, Turner, they just get one playoff series win, and you go back to Indiana happy. But no, I mean they've clearly exceeded those expectations, and we'll get to that plan for them. We'll get to that Bruins plan for the offseason troll. We'll get to that one in a second, but. No, for the Celtics, it's just honestly, I think we just honestly can't get in our heads, Josh. We just can't get our own heads. Forget about all this, Pacers, all this trade deadline stuff and everything. The Pacers are going to do their thing and everything, but we just got to focus. We're the better team. I know you said this sort of. I want to get back to that Porzingis one. I'm not going to hammer that point, Josh. I think that one's going to be a little more right there. That's a perfect picture, actually. Right there. I think that guy's going to be a problem for us, Miles Turner. That's I'm a little more concerned with that one than people think. I mean, he kind of just sort of took over that next series. So he's got to be a little more careful on that one. And that is my specialty, troll. I got to get to that other one. I got to get to that other comment. That's my specialty over there. But ultimately, going back to the Pacers, I think a great season, but Josh, they shouldn't be doing anything to us. I'm not going to be like Jimmy. I'm not going to be on my way to San Antonio. If they lose, because I've grown to expect that stuff from the Celtics. But overall, we should win this. We should win this, Josh. We should win this. I don't want to give a series. I don't want to give a total yet. We're going to wait a little. I'm going to wait a little to give the series total, which game I think. But I did, Jimmy. I did do that too, as well, to end that point.
Oh, here we go. NBA's trash product ESPN head. Oh, man. Wow. That is
before. It was before. It was before that McDavid one. Yeah, that was I don't know about that. I watched a little of that WNBA game. Caitlin Clark. Not doing too well over there, 0-4. So I don't know about that. At the NBA, that was a little weird timing. I'll give Troll a little credit on that one. That was a weird little timing. I think that was just for the Oilers, just start time. But yeah, hey, shout out to Caitlin Clark. 0-4 over there. That was tough. I'm not going to say I've got my own reasons why I was upset at that one. I think everyone could put 2 and 2 together on that one. I was backing Caitlin Clark yesterday, but she didn't help me out. So 0-4, Josh. They got to figure out that team's got to figure it out over there.
Liberty.
There's a WNBA take. Yeah, Fever. Hey, Fever. Indiana Fever, Pacers. That's how we connected.
And yeah, just back to the Porzingis. I have to bring it back here. This guy, all I'm gonna say is I told you so. If he does not suit up at all, and if he is the detriment to this Boston Celtics team, you got exactly what you signed up for. I don't want that to happen. But again, the Lewises, the Jerrys, the green teamers on social media who come at me for, you're just a hater. Who would want Porzingis to be hurt? Why are you rooting for this? I'm not rooting for this, but I just had a feeling that this was going to happen. And again, this is what we signed up for, Ben. And even without us signing up for this, you still went out and you still got Drew Holiday. You still have Derek White. We hear about these ESPN guys that we want to bash all the time. They're right. You look without Porzingis, and it's still arguably, I don't even think arguably, I think it's a fact that they are the most talented starting 5 in the NBA. So this should be a cakewalk, Ben. With Porzingis, it should most certainly be a cakewalk in 5.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
If don't have him, it goes to 6. I wouldn't call that a cakewalk, but I think a lot of these games are going to be unbalanced in the scoring. I think it's going to look a lot better than it actually was, because game to game, I think some of the Celtics wins will be by 20 or by 10. Then again, I think the Pacers, maybe they steal one here and then they steal one on the road. At home for them, or maybe they steal 2. I don't know. You never know what can happen with the Celtics. As Marianne, as Denise, as you, as myself have mentioned, we have kind of screwed things up in the past. But again, I think that they find their way out of this, Ben. And no matter who it is, whoever you see in the Western Conference, whether it's Dallas, whether it's the Timberwolves, I think you have a little bit more of your hands full. And I think you could potentially see a Game 7 series if it goes to the NBA Finals and if you go to the NBA Finals. But again, all that starts tonight, Ben. They can take a nice, quick, early lead. The bettors and the spreads are looking great for the Celtics. So, again, I like the Celtics. Win it at home. Go up 2-0. I know I said this against the Heat, and I said this against the Cavs. Take a commanding 2-0 lead. Don't go back to Indiana 1-1. Because I think this team's a little more dangerous than the other teams. But again, win in 6.
Yeah, exactly, Josh. You don't want to take any chances. The Cavs just kind of fell apart too. Donovan Mitchell was out. LeVert was out. They just kind of fell apart at the end. Yeah, Mitchell put on a show in the Garden one time. So I think some of those talented Indiana Pacers players like Siakam, Halliburton can put on a show over there, steal a couple games against us. So let's forget about the cakewalk. Everyone keeps saying cakewalk this, Josh. With Porzingis, I would have said cakewalk, but without him, I think this is going to be, a regular series. I think we should win. Obviously, we're the more talented team. We're just 1 through 5, just our depth, our coaching. I think we're just a better team all around. But just something about without him. It's just without him, it's not going to be a cakewalk in any series. We're going to go through some struggles. There's going to be some games we drop, but just got to get to that point where he's healthy. And Josh can't prove it to us and say he was right, because Josh has been saying this. You got to give him credit. He's been a hater, as you point out. Lewis and everyone's going to call him out, being a hater for it. But it's true. I mean, he's injury prone. This is what we knew what we were getting into with him. We knew the talent that he can give this lineup. But when he's not here, it's going to fill a void. So we got to watch out for this. Let's rest him these first 2 games. We don't even have to. We don't even have. Listen, if it's going good, game 3. If it's going good this series, and I'm just wrong yet again, which is probably going to be right. I've been pretty wrong of late, especially with some NHL picks and all that stuff. So, but for the Celtics, let's just do what we can. Try to get as much rest as we can for him, because without him, I still give every team a good shot without him, Josh. Everyone wants to say that, but without him, I think some of these teams can take us to the distance.
For sure. And I think
about the Mavs either, Josh. Might see Kyrie again.
Hey, we're literally going to talk about that in a second, the Western Conference matchup. And I think Ben makes a very good point I didn't even think about. You finish this series in 4 or 5, I don't think we sweep them. I mean, if the Cavs and the Heat can steal a win, I think this Pacers team can. But hey, if you can get out of this series in 5, and hopefully that Western Conference matchup goes to 7, that's more rest for your players, and that's more rest for Porzingis. That's more that you don't have to worry, oh, damn, are we going to start him game 1? Like, is that whole thing going to be lingering? Hopefully you got him ready. You finish this in 6 at the most. 5 would be unbelievable, Ben, especially with the other. That gives your whole team rest. That gives him more rest. I wanted to throw that one out there because that is an interesting take. But aside from that, we're talking Western Conference matchup. And a little matchup that, hey, a lot of people didn't believe in the little engine that could in Dallas, but hey, they are here in the Western Conference Finals for the second time in, I believe, 4 years, going up against Ant-Man, and a lot of people crowning Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, in this Timberwolves team, kind of the face of the future there. This is an interesting matchup then. I think this one, I'm going to say it, this one goes 7 for sure. This is going to be a great battle. And I think it's even a little bit better for the Dallas Mavericks that it went 7 for the Nuggets. They got a little bit of a rest here, and they definitely could have used that rest on the road. I think an interesting little point here. Both of these teams have not been to the finals. I know that Kyrie Irving has, but a lot of those players on the Timberwolves are very inexperienced. So it's going to be interesting in seeing. I think it's going to be a heavyweight bout. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Dallas Mavericks steal game 1. That's all I have to say so far.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's a great point right there. And we'll mention that for Jimmy, too. I guess Jimmy's 1 autograph per person on Thursday nights. I'm not sure how many autographs people want from him, but we can see the numbers. We can see after, Josh. We'll analyze how many he got over there, and just echoing that from Kindred, too. Let's go Celtics. We'll just echo that all night as we're nearing tip-off, but yeah, I'm just shocked from the Mavs, Josh. The little engine that you said is really just Kyrie Irving over there leading that team. I know a lot of people are giving Luka credit at 3 straight triple doubles to end the series, but I think Kyrie's really just sort of become a leader on that team. You're seeing his imprint in all these games. He's having some not games where he's coming up good with the scoring, but he's having these 10+ assist games, Josh. He's just getting sort of all over the team. He's helping and sort of Derek Lively out, getting his confidence up. He was having a little confidence with some free throw shooting. He said, hey, keep attacking the rim. Gets that free throw, you're going to hit him. And he has, and you saw him sort of get the ball on PJ Washington some more with some of those corner threes, get him more involved, and sort of show Luka, hey, you got to get some of these guys some other chances. Luka tends to just try to take it on his back, some of the times to just try to put it all on himself, which, he hasn't had he's had the roster where he's had to do that, but now he's got a guy like Kyrie where he can just give him the rock, let him do his thing for a little while. He can get some buckets and sort of take that pressure off Luka. You're seeing that. Hey, just the guy I mentioned, PJ Washington, stepping up. He's just been in threes like Ray Allen. He's just been huge for him over there. And just some of these other trade deadline acquisitions, Gafford's giving them the size and presence on that defensive side to just help them out. I mean, they're still pretty bad on defense, Josh. I'm not going to totally absolve them of that, but they got better. They were just really bad in the regular season. Now they're just bad. You're sort of seeing some upgrades, and you saw it in that sort of huge comeback in that last game against OKC. It just turned on in the second half, had a nice, furious comeback. You just got the team motivated, so. I'm liking what I'm seeing out those Mavs, Josh. For the Nuggets, it's just. For the T-Wolves, it's just a little too much for me to back against the T-Wolves right now. I went on that little rant earlier. I think just we're seeing another team form out of the West, Josh. We talked about all these teams sprouting up, all these young teams. OKC. Well, we thought the Suns had a nice little core over there, but we're seeing that explode. But the Nuggets, OKC. Mavs build some of these sort of nice little cores over here, and now the T-Wolves. I mean, Gobert, Cat, and Anthony Edwards becoming the leader over there. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with, Josh. Going in these upcoming years. So, T-Wolves fans, Minnesota fans should be excited with that product. Going to be a great matchup. I don't know about 6, Josh. I don't know. I'm going to go. 7. Excuse me. I'm going to go 6 for. Sorry about that. Sorry. I'm going to go 6 for. This series. I don't know if you want to say your team first, but I'm going to go with the T-Wolves. I'm going to go T-Wolves in 6, Josh. I think that team's just too much. Anthony Edwards he's the man. He's the man, Josh. So I'm going to give him credit and everything. And just those two big guys. Cat's got to get some wins too. Cat's deserved it over there. I know he's kind of a baby over there sometimes, but he's put up with some bad years over in Minnesota, so he deserves to get to that championship game. So I got Minnesota in 6. It's gonna be a great series.
For sure, Ben. And I think just looking at that Game 7 win, the biggest thing for me is this is a team that was able to carry Anthony Edwards first. He shot 6 for 24, didn't play his best game at all. Ben was clearly not the best player on the court in that Game 7, but they had guys to lean on like Naz Reid. You have, of course, Anthony Edwards, who didn't have a good game, but Cat was unbelievable. This team, I think, one is better than I thought. I mean, this team, I was like, they're going to be like the Denver Nuggets of like 6 years ago where they lead and kind of rule the regular season and then fade out in the playoffs. That isn't the case at all. These guys can make things happen even without Anthony Edwards, who does have that swagger to him and is showing potential to be one of the faces of the NBA, if not right now is one of the faces for sure. But again, something about this Dallas Mavericks team that I like to keep it going 7, to keep that little engine that could, is the players in the points that you mentioned. Derek Lively adds huge size to that team. Same with Gafford as well. PJ Washington's been unbelievable. Everything they could have asked for and more. Kind of been part of that big 3 there, Ben, in terms of points per game. Tim Hardaway Jr. brings that, that good run and gun, defend decent on defense type of guy that's going to give you a couple big 3. Of course, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, which I thought that pairing wasn't going to match up very well. It's proved me wrong. A Western Conference Finals appearance looks great. And as I mentioned, anything can happen when push comes to shove for that. Again, I think that series does go 7. And I agree with Ben. I think it is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves coming out of that series, and we will be seeing a Minnesota Timberwolves versus a Boston Celtics championship. If you're someone like Kevin Garnett, it's probably going to be a toss-up for who he's going to root for.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great one right there too, Josh. For the Celtics, I'm just looking at both those storylines. I don't want to. I said I know I was just yelling about it not being a cakewalk and everything, but I'm just looking a little ahead. I mean, 2 storylines with the Mavs and T-Wolves, as you just mentioned. Obviously, Kevin Garnett ties and sort of this T-Wolves, Anthony Edwards challenging Tatum for the new face of the league. And, Tatum's still trying to become the face of the league. He's right up in the cusp, but Anthony Edwards throwing his hat in the ring for that one. So you kind of got that dynamic. And obviously on that other side, if Dallas manages to somehow get out of there, you got Kyrie Irving back in town. So I'd love to see a little finals going against Kyrie, even though, I don't know, Josh, that would scare me a little too. Obviously, we get into that a little more, but I mean, Kyrie Irving has put up some big shots, in NBA Finals games. One of the biggest shots I've ever seen. Obviously in that Golden State one, and as you pointed out earlier in that one, I mean, in that Minnesota series, he's got the most playoff experience, I think, out of both teams. Just with his time, obviously, with Cleveland, so he's got he's got the talents, he's got the experience to give us some problems. So I think it's just two potential, nice storylines to look out for an NBA Finals. But we can't be looking at that stuff, Josh. I get a little carried away. We got to focus on the Pacers. And as you said, you said 7. I'm going to take 6. 6 for the Celtics. Let's get it done, nice and easy.
I like that, Ben. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what they have to do. They have to win this series. It's put up or shut up for the Boston Celtics. We've been hearing this for a long time. And again, as you mentioned, as I've mentioned, the chips have been perfect for them. They've kind of, other teams within the Eastern Conference have kind of battled injuries and have been plagued with injuries and stuff like that. I think that it's worked to the Celtics' benefit. I like the Pacers. I think that they have a lot of depth. I think, obviously, right now, the Indiana Pacers would give us a tougher matchup than the Knicks, even with Jalen Brunson healthy and still no Julius Randle. I've kind of switched my take on that. I will say that. But again, Boston Celtics need to take this. They will in 5 or 6. And Ben mentioned a very good point that I didn't even think about. Last week was the NFL drop of the schedule. And we're going to give you guys, we're going to kind of talk about some of the NFL schedule and, maybe some games we can kind of preview if you want, some stuff to kind of overlook or look at right now and to kind of analyze. First, let's start with Ben's team. Let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers because I have the graphic up here. Ben, I'm going to turn it to you guys. And this is the Steelers.
Yeah, Josh, this is a tough one, Josh. Tough one over here. A little weird one. Don't play a division team till, I believe, week 10 or week 11. Kind of a weird schedule, one of the toughest in the league. So, Josh, I'm not too happy. I'm not too happy with this schedule. Yeah,
wow.
It's just I'm not too happy with it, unfortunately. It's what you get when you have Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, to get all these acquisitions. You want to be on sort of these, prime time games. But, looking at the, NFC South, that's obviously a little easy. NFC East, excuse me. Got a couple games in there. The Giants and Eagles, those are going to be some tough games. I think the Cowboys too. Look at that, Giants, Cowboys. It's just going to be tough for us, Josh. I want to get to Lewis's point too. Hey, don't ever apologize for being late, Lewis. But I echo that one too. The Bees. Right. You were right. Yeah, we got to that one. Lewis. But yeah, they just stunk. They stunk. Gotta go spend some money in the off season. Go figure something out. But yeah, as I mentioned, NFC East. That's a tough schedule to get, Josh, for the opposing division. Obviously, you guys are going to be a tough one, as we mentioned. Steelers, Kansas City, Christmas Day. Cowboys at the Steelers, October 6th. Yeah, Nick DeVasta. But, you got the Chiefs on there, too. Just the West, AFC West is just, they were getting better. Each team, Herbert. I like what the Chargers are doing. I know everyone's making fun of that Joe Alt move, but I think that's the best move for them. I know that's going to be a good one. I know everyone likes poking fun at that, but I seriously do think that's just what they needed. Justin Herbert hasn't played a full season, and I can't even remember, Josh. It's been at least 2 seasons. He's got to be healthy. Harbaugh loves building an offensive line out. So I know you've lost Eckler, Allen, Williams. Sorry, it's whatever. With a guy like Herbert, you're going to have to just prove that you can build some of these other weapons and you can mold some guys out as these draft picks that they got. And, they got a nice kid from Georgia, McConkley. So, the Chargers are doing their thing. Josh, I'm looking at the schedule. I just don't see an easy way out for us. It's going to be a tough one. We had a nice, easy schedule last year. So I guess it's kind of due, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for us. But I think ultimately we'll still become 500, Josh. We'll still be 500 and keep that Tomlin streak going.
I could see it. You look at a lot of these matchups here. Falcons going to be tough, as you mentioned. Jets, I'm not sold on the Jets, but I look at this. I see 9-8, 8-9 written all over it, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, Josh.
Interesting. Yeah. And hey, I'm not lollygagging. I'm not throwing a parade because schedule looks pretty tough to me as well. This is kind of what we're looking at here. I look at the first 3 games are pretty tough. I think that'll be a tough ones. And then from the Lions to about the Texans, that whole stretch there is every game is a toss-up. You're probably going to see a couple losses in there for sure. And again, this Cowboys team, I think, is similar situation here. Just kind of hovering around 9 to 10 wins in Lewis, I think.
I knew you'd like that one.
It's funny.
I knew you guys would like that one. Listen, Josh, I had to just highlight something on there. Highlight something there for us. Because we both, just Cowboys and Steelers, just 2 tough divisions. Obviously, both of our divisions playing each other. I never said I was cool with it. We're going to get back into this debate. I never said I was cool with it. But with that schedule, it's going to be a tough one. I'd be happy with a 500 record, similar to what we just said about that one. I mean, just look at that. That's just tough. We'll pull up the Pats eventually. But, I mean, look, it's just, I mean, from the Bengals, I mean, the Commanders, I know Josh kind of said, to the Texans on that one, but I was going to throw a 5-game stretch in there. The Commanders are not going to be a joke for anybody this year. I mean, the Falcons, I don't see an easy game for us on here until maybe the Broncos, the Jets. I mean, again, Rodgers back. And then we got the Chiefs over there too. It's just, Josh, it's not very fun for me to look at, with all these acquisitions. I was pretty excited for the season. So it's whatever. I'm obviously going to give us some of these wins that I don't think we might win. But, I think we'll get there. And we'll get to Lewis's point. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I like that one too. They can't go 500 unless they have a tie. That's a good one. But yeah, Josh, the Cowboys are not winning 9 games. Okay.
I think that's. I mean, I know me and you and James do it way later on, but I think let's play the game.
Yeah, it's early.
I'm going to be honest. I'll say Browns is a loss on the road. I'll say we beat 1 win against the Saints at home, lose against the Ravens, win against the Giants. Ooh, Steelers. I'm going to give us a win. I'll be confident in that. I say we beat the Steelers, so I'm at 3 wins right now. I'll say we lose at home against the Lions revenge game, lose against the 49ers, beat the Falcons, beat the Eagles at home because I think we split, lose against the Texans, beat the Commanders, beat the Giants. I'm at 7 right now. Bengals at home, I'll say we lose. Beat the Panthers on the road.
Give it
beat the Bucks at home. Now I'm at 9. I mean, I think we lose to the Eagles, maybe lose to the Commanders. I'm 9 wins right now. I'm at 9-8, which is pretty much what I was hovering around.
I don't know about that Bucks. My Bucks one's going to be a little closer, Josh. Josh is giving it a little easier one. That's a tough 3 games right there.
Oh, for sure.
To end it over there. But, that's for the Cowboys and Steelers. These are just tough schedules. No way around it. I think we just got some of the better divisions ultimately out there. I know the NFC North. I'm going to save that one, but everyone watch out for the NFC North as well. So I think ultimately just us playing each other's divisions is going to hurt both of our records right there. 2 of the top divisions. I'm just going to keep mentioning that to give some jabs to the AFC East. I'm waiting for Lewis to say anything, but I'm going to agree with him on that 9 games one. I don't know, Josh. It's going to be tough.
Wow.
I already said the Commanders were going to be better than the Cowboys, so I'm gonna have to stick to that one. I think the Commanders will have a better record, will finish better than the Cowboys. So I'm gonna have to go with Lewis on that one. And Kendrick, I can never throw in the towel.
I agree with that one.
Much like to Mason's point, we're not shutting it down. We're not throwing the towel in, no matter what over here. We're gonna keep going. Hey, Kendrick, I would be happy with the Eagles winning none. I've had enough of the Eagles. Just give me Jalen Hurts if I got him in fantasy. Give me some nice production, but that's about it from the Eagles, what I want to see from them.
Oh, for sure. Let's turn for the last about 5 minutes here. Let's turn to the New England Patriots. This is their schedule. Ben, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I mean, everybody's laughing about the Steelers and the Cowboys. There is no chance the Patriots win more than 6 games. Just looking at this schedule, I mean, the first 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, they could lose. I think that they will beat the Jets, though. I'm not all in on the Jets like everybody else, but I mean, this is.
They'll split. They always split, Josh. Hey, there's Jackson. There we go, Jackson.
Jackson coming in. Cowboys
go
under
Jackson.
500. This is an interesting take here from a lot of people.
I'm echoing. Everyone's starting to pile that take up, Josh. I like that. I like how everyone's starting to get there. Jackson's a smart man, but you're also a smart man with that one too, Josh. It's just this one's just tough. I mean, I really can't. I know some people. I know Jeff out there has sent a couple tweets about some people saying 10-7 possible record. I just don't see it. Maybe Seattle, but that's just only because it's at home. But obviously, as you see the Jets, I always see them splitting with the Jets. I think they're going to win. Obviously, one against them. That's just a Jets thing. They just can't beat the Pats. But with Rodgers now and everything, I think the Pats lose one of those ones. I think Rodgers just takes that team so obviously another level. As Zach Wilson and those other scrubs they had last year really didn't take them to. So, but I mean, you're really looking at these other. I mean, even the Bears is a tough one. I mean, everyone thinks that Bears one's going to be easy, but I think that Bears away, with Caleb Williams and what they've just added to that offense. I know still rookie quarterback, and the Bears are the Bears. We got to see it, and we got to see it until we believe it. That offense is just so much more more powerful than the Patriots right now, just on paper. Obviously, just on paper right now, we're all speculating, but Titans. Yeah,
Seahawks, by the way.
Oh, that's the Seahawks. Yep, there we go.
Sorry. Go ahead, though. Sorry, Ben.
No, all good. It's hard to see. Maybe that Cardinals one. But as you said, it's just looking grim for all of us right now. It wasn't too good for any of our season schedule. I know some people get a little more hype than us, Josh. Some people go crazy with the schedule releases, but I don't really do that. I want to see some of the teams out there first, get a little closer to the regular season. But I think all of us right now we're pretty unhappy with some of these games, Josh. It's a tough road, especially for the Patriots. Some Patriots better just get some offensive line protection for Drake May.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's going to be a tough road ahead for the New England Patriots. I know we talk about the Cowboys, we talk about the Steelers, but it's a lot. I've already seen from OTAs. He's struggling a little. It's early, though. I'm not going to panic, but I know a lot of reporters saying the New England Patriots had a hard time yesterday and today getting that ball moving against the defense. So, and this is non-contact. So,
that's a good point too.
That's an interesting little point to put in there. But yeah, Ben, I'm gonna wrap it up with this for me. Bruins offseason, go spend the money that you have to get another superstar or another star around Pasternak. He needs help. He can't be the only guy to do it. It's just his team's not built for that. Sign Swayman, keep him locked up. Moving forward to the Celtics, it's put up or shut up. I want to see Porzingis in a uniform by the finals. Just rest him for the Eastern Conference. It's not even worth it. It's not worth my take and prove. Just rest him till the finals. Celtics in 6, Stars in 7. No, I'll say 6. Stars in 6, Rangers in 7. Timberwolves in 7. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, and thank you to Kirk and the Kirk Minahan Show for letting me and James do our thing on Thursdays. So,
shout out to Kirk and the whole community over there for that. Letting our guys do their thing over there and just let us do our thing over here. So appreciate that. We'll let everyone get out a little early too, Josh. We got out a little early. We got to go get these games. Need everybody watching Celtics right now. Tip off in 5 minutes. Wrapping it up with this, Josh. Bruins, just go spend. What Lewis said earlier. We know who they are. We got to go spend. We got to go do something different. They never really do that. So we got to do something out of our comfort zone. There's my little off-season plan for the Troll King. Hopefully he stuck around for that one. But yeah, shout out to all the comments. Appreciate it for everybody. And yeah, Jackson, we'll get to that one too. Always got to get to Jackson's comments right there for that one. Hey, let's put up or shut up for the Celtics. It's definitely that right now. Put up or shut up is definitely just sort of the phrase that we just sort of should give them for this whole series. Let's go see what we can do. For the football side, Josh, let's put that in the back burner. I'm not too happy with those schedules for any of us. We'll get to that eventually when we get there, but I'll end with this. Let's go Celtics.